This verse video goes along with Croy chapter 12. We're going back to John. This one is a little bit easier than the Matthew passage in some ways. And I think you'll recognize a lot of the words that are in this one. So I'm looking at John, the Gospel of John, chapter 14, and we're going to read two verses. We're going to read verse 3 and verse 6 because both of them give us some futures. And so we want to see some futures, which there are lessons for this week is about the future, active, and middle indicative verbs. John is the fourth gospel, so you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and then John. And remember, it starts with according to, kata, and then it starts with an iota, John, according to John. If you need to pause it to find it, no problem. But we're going to read from John chapter 14, starting in verse 3. Okay, here's verse 3. Do you feel brave enough to start reading with me? If you do, why don't we just read along together and you try it as well. Kai, eon, parutho, kai, hetoi maso. I should pause. Do you hear what I said? See how it's a rough breathing mark on the beginning of that word? He, to maso. He, toi maso. Okay, let's keep reading. Tapon, human. Again, do you hear the rough? Human. Pollen, erkomai, kai, paralampsomai, humas, pros, emalton, hina, hapu, emi, ego, kai, humes, ete. Yeah, there's a lot of vowels in this verse as the first letter. And remember, this is key. This is going back to like the very first lesson. If it's got a apostrophe looking above the vowel, then it's just a smooth, it just sounds like the vowel. If it's got a backwards looking apostrophe, it actually makes that h sound at the beginning, a rough sound. Okay, let's translate this verse together. Kai means and aeon we've begun to see a few times as this possibility. And if parutho, if I go, kai means and. That's how you usually do it. Kai, though, can also mean also. It can mean also. I think in this case it means also. So this is basically Jesus talking. He says, and if I go, that's what parutho means. And if I go, also etoi maso, hetoi maso. You don't know this word yet, but look at some things you do know. Put your finger over everything but the last letter. What person and number ends with an O of verbs? First person singular, so it's Jesus talking. And then back it up one more, and you see that s there? In this lesson, you'll actually hear me. I'm going to mispronounce a number of things and emphasize that s. That's a sign that you've got a future verb. And so this verb means to prepare. But in this case, he's preparing something in the future. I will prepare. Etoimaso. I will prepare. Tapon is a place. And then human is a pronoun you should know. Do you know what case it's in? It's a tricky one. It's a dative, and it's you plural, because look at that upsilon. Who, it's you. Okay, so that's the first part. And if I go, also I will prepare a place for you. So he's talking about when he's going to go to heaven for a while and prepare a place for them. Pollen means again, erkomai, you know that word. I come. Kai paralampsomai, and if you don't know it, there's a note down at the bottom. It's from lambano, a word you know, but you'll see that this is the future version of it, and so you're going to get to know that now. So I am coming, and I will receive humas, you, it's y'all, it's that plural. And this one is in the accusative form. If you don't remember those pronouns, you should go back and take a look at them. Pros, emalton, to me. Emalton is back. He's talking to myself. If I go, this is what he says. Let me back up. If I go, also I will prepare a place for you. Again, I am coming, and I will take you to me, or I will receive you to me. Hina means in order that. Hapu means where. So in order that, emi ego. Normally in John we get it the other direction, ego, eimi, I am, but in Greek word order just does not matter. So it's still I am, it's just working in the opposite direction. So that where I am, kai, also, humes, ese, y'all are. Or y'all actually, I think, will be. Maybe. Could be. It's yeah. We won't worry about the ete. We'll worry about that when we get to it. It's its own problem. Okay, let's jump down a couple of verses then and read this one that you'll know a lot of the words of. Read verse 6 with me, and let's read it together. So you read it the same time I'm reading. Lege auto, ha Jesus, ego eimi, he hadas, kai he aletheia, kai he zoe, udes erkatai, pros ton patera, a me. You actually put those two words together. You probably don't know that, but they go together. A me. D. Emu. Okay, let's start at the beginning of verse 6. Lege. You know this is from a verb. Do you know what verb it's from? Lego. And what person and number is this? Third person, singular. Lege. He, she, or it says. Who's the person who is saying something? Ha Jesus, Jesus. So Jesus says, auto, to him. And in this case, the him is Thomas. We found that out in the verses we skipped over. So I'm just telling you. So Jesus says to him, this is an answer to something Thomas says. Basically, Thomas says, how can we find the place where you're going? Jesus says to him, ego eimi, I am. He hadas. The way. That's a vocab. So if you don't know it, go back and study it. Kai he aletheia. And the truth. That's a vocab. Kai, he, zoe, and the life. So if you don't know those words, go back and study them, because they're words you should know at this point. Udes erkatai. So, you don't know the word udes yet, but if you put your finger over everything but the first two letters, you know. So it's a negation, and then ace means like one. So it's literally like no one. Erkatai, from erkomai, erkatai, comes. Pros ton patera, pater. Do you know who the pater is? It's the Father, right? So no one comes to the Father. A me, together they mean if not, so they mean except. So no one comes to the Father if not or except. D, but it really is dia. Is a pronoun. I mean, it's a preposition. You know, dia means through. When it's with the genitive, like it is here, through me. Why is it missing its last alpha? It's because when the next word starts with a vowel, the last alpha drops off, and you just get an apostrophe instead. So backing up in verse 6, it says, Lege auto ha Jesus. Jesus says to him, ego eimi, I am, he charas, the way, kai he aletheia, and the truth, kai he zoe, and the life, udes erkatai, no one comes, pros ton patera, a me, d emu, except through me. No one comes to the Father except through me. So that's got a bunch of words that you have studied recently. Hopefully you're getting the hang of some of these things and you're finding this reading of Scripture encouraging, because to me that's kind of the goal long term, is that you can read some of the words of Scripture in this original language. So, cool. Keep trying.